grade, I was on JV, right? Mm-hmm. And we had scouts. We went to college scouts. When I went to Maryland University, I went to Virginia Tech, and I went to what's the other one? Ohio State. I didn't really start getting locked up until I actually started selling drugs.
Okay.
And it was all downhill for me. I was, at the age of 15, I was waiting to adult. I mean, I did 22 years in prison for possession and distribution. The 22, well, I did 22 years. It was more than that because the last one was 30. But I did 20. I did physically 22 years in prison.
Now this is all at one time, or
no? And broke it down.
So what was the longest sentence that you kind of did out of those 22?
10 years, 6 months. Maybe I was loyal when I was coming up to the wrong things in life, and that's what led me to where I end up in life, right? But it also showed me strength. Because if I could be loyal to the wrong things, it's easy to be loyal to the right thing.
Small city, big dreams, turning dreams into reality. Now we in season 2 today. I got my man Hardface in the building today. Let him know, what's your real name, Hardface?
Terrance Sims.
Terrance Sims?
Yep.
Okay, where you from, Terrance?
1337 Robinwood. I was born and raised there.
Okay, so now for the people that don't know, we actually down Robinwood right now. So you actually home sweet home, right, so to say.
Right.
So, okay, let me kind of paint that picture back in Robinwood when you was coming up for real.
When I was coming up, my grandmother raised me down Riva after I was born down here. And I came back up here when I was like 8 or 9. My Aunt Betty Ann Coots. I used to come up here, and I come stay up here on weekends with her. And my grandmother never wanted me to come up here because of the name that Robinwood had for it. So, and you know, us as kids, when we see things, right? When we get a chance to actually see the other kids our age, because it wasn't houses away from me for miles. So if I wanted to go play with somebody, I had to walk 2-3 miles to go play with somebody. So it was like, you got all your kids right here. You got basketball court, you got a playground. You know what I'm saying? It was amusing to me anyway. And then it was the girls. So it was like, okay, cool. So my first bad experience down here was the girls. You know, back in the day, if a girl hit you, that means they liked you, right? So they was hitting me, and I didn't know how to take it because I'm from down the country where it ain't none. It's all family. So I had a bottle. You know, I picked up a bottle and I leaned on a bottle, and the bottle broke and stabbed me. And I'm bleeding. I was scared to go in the house. I thought Betty Ann was going to beat me and wasn't going to let me come back up here no more. But the whole time I had to be rushed to the hospital. So my grandmother was like, no, my baby never going back up here. So then I didn't come back up here again until I was like 13, 14. And at this time, it's jumping the summertime. You got the Robinwood basketball game going on. You got everything going on in the neighborhood. And it was truly amazing. I mean, it was truly amazing. Something that you don't see in the country. You know what I mean? And so it was like, I was stuck. I was hooked. And then the drug epidemic came.
So what kind of was the household like, so to say, right here down in Robinwood?
Oh, my household was wonderful. My mother always kept a wonderful house, right? My father wasn't there, but my mother always kept a wonderful house, and you kept it clean. It was rules, something that we don't have today. You know what I mean? We have to stay in our kids behind, because if we don't, then they don't have no direction. They don't have no guidance.
Yeah.
You know, and that was something that was mandatory in the household back then, that you must keep your room clean, take your trash out, you had your chores, you did your homework, right? For the most part. Mm-hmm. And I was just one of those ones. And Even till the day I stand my son, but you know what I mean. You gotta do your chores. If you expect what you expect out of life, you gotta do your part. You know, and a lot of people don't today. And I be trying to instill that in people today, right? You gotta start with your kids, because if you start with your kids, if you're broken, you trying to fix your kids is gonna fix you.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
like that.
so
I like that.
you know you gotta start somewhere. It gotta be better. If your parents didn't do the job right, and not to say that they done it wrong, because no baby comes with directions, right? We learn from what we was taught, from what we seen, right? And they didn't have direction. So there's no right or wrong way to raise a child, but we have to put our best foot forward in anything that we do in life. You know, because if we don't, then we're gonna get what we always got, and that's nothing.
So, what's one thing that you took from your household outside down here in Rockwood when you went outside?
Cleanliness,
Hmm.
cleanliness, and loyalty.
Okay.
You have to be, and maybe I was loyal when I was coming up to the wrong things in life, and that's what led me to where I end up in life, right? But it also showed me strength, because if I could be loyal to the wrong things, easy to be loyal to the right things.
So now, kind of paint that picture for me. You kind of, you down in Robinwood now. You getting to explore with new friends and things like that, so to say.
Well, new friends was because everybody down here is basically family,
Okay.
right? So it was like I knew him, but I didn't know him because I wasn't really in this area. And at this time, around this time, everybody was selling weed. If you ain't had no weed, you wasn't nobody. You wasn't doing nothing. And I played basketball,
Mhm.
and it was like, okay, nobody down here would let me play basketball. They wouldn't. You ain't ready for us. You can't handle us. This, that, and other. So my mother moved from here to Cape St. Clair,
Okay.
right? And I ended up going to Broadneck. And I was gone for a minute again, right? But when I came back serving their ass because he was let me on the basketball court. But man, it was just like, so that's when it really got bad for me though, because I was doing it for the wrong reason. God gave me a talent, and then I used it for the wrong reasons. I used it to showboat
Okay.
instead of being what it was.
Now, give me an example when you say you use your talent to showboat. Give me an example.
Because they wouldn't nobody let me throw the basketball courts down
Yeah.
here, so I came and had the shit on everybody.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, that was my age anyway.
Okay.
I ain't gonna say and say I was no Tracy Parker or no Manpool. I wasn't none of those guys, right? But I was pretty good for who I was,
Right. Okay.
and I broke records. If you go to Broadneck right now today, I'm in the showcase.
Mm-hmm.
First time Broadneck ever beat an app senior high anything. I came down here and handed their ass to them. Yeah, 26 points, beat by 36.
So now, did you have any hopes of going to college or anything like that when you was in high school?
10th grade, I was on JV, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we had scouts. We went to college scouts. When I went to Maryland University, I went to Virginia Tech, and I went to what's the other one? Ohio State, because they wanted 3 people off my team. Our center was 6'10", and then everybody knows Carol Watts. So it was like, we was just like the three amigos.
Mm-hmm.
We did it. But after that, it that right there opened up a whole new door for me, because like they say on He Got Game,
Mm-hmm.
how it showed the move when he went on them scouts.
Yeah.
Man, it's terrible. It's terrible. So now I picked up my first addiction, would be sex.
Hmm.
My first addiction was sex. So then it went from
So I'm sorry to cut your wisdom
no,
too. So what you saying, sex, right? Were you kind of given the opportunity to have sex with like certain people to go to these certain schools and things like that?
I mean, it was just like a big party.
Okay.
It was like a big party, and they were like, "Come to our school, come to our school," and it was like it was just there.
Yeah, I
It
get you.
was just there. You go in the room, there might be three girls, and you know
Now,
what I mean.
was it? Do you think that was a setup move right
Hell
there,
yeah,
or you
hell yeah,
think?
hell yeah. Because and you guarantee that this is not what it's gonna be once you get into school. I'm guaranteed that that's not what it really was gonna be.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But me being young and impressionable, right? That's what happened. And when I came home that weekend, then I come home and then my uncle is out here jamming brand new BMWs, Mercedes, 3, 4 apartments. I'm like, what? He give me like $1,500 to go and go just go to the mall, go shop, and go buy yourself stuff. I'm proud of you, right?
Mm-hmm.
That just opened a whole other door. Shit, if you got this now, I know you ain't went to school. I might as well hang with you, right? And that's basically what it was because he was always like my superhero anyway. And it was like, I don't know. I trying to get that money now and go to school. And I don't advise anybody to try to do that. Focus on your school. Don't let nothing distract you from doing what you're supposed to do in life, man, to get yourself ahead the right way. Because the wrong way do not last.
So at this point where you was in school, you was kind of 1 foot in school, 1 foot out, so to
Right,
say.
right,
Okay.
right. Because it was even to the point to where as though white people in school was your best sellers,
Yeah.
was your best customers. So you know what I mean, you was it was right there, you know what I mean? And I was never the one that would go and approach you and say, well, here I got this, right? I was the one that you asked for. If you ask for it, because I'm really not condemning myself, but I am,
Mm-hmm.
right? And it just came down to my addiction for sex.
Hmm.
That's my real problem. That was my real problem in life. I was sex addict, and that was terrible, and it still is till today. It still is till today, but I got a little more grip on it today. But because I'm basically finding out who I am,
Right.
right? So, but it was just one thing for another. It
Yeah.
was just so easy to say, well, here I got this, or I got money from this, and just because women start to gravitate because they don't help you neither. If you got $1, they with you. If you don't, they're gone. So it's just like you have to most definitely take your time and pick the right woman in life too,
Yeah.
right? Because the right woman will cover all those grounds for you. I was just been so blessed. I got his mom, all my kids. I just been truly blessed. None of my kids have been in trouble. You know, one son he got 8 quarter weed charge. He smoked weed.
Yeah.
He quarter weed charge. He called me up crying. So I asked him, I said, what you get caught with? He said, 2 bags of weed, 2 big bags and 2 small bags. 2 dimes. I hung the phone up on him. He'll see the Cooper snore on Monday. He'll get out, right? He tells me I did 22 years in prison for possession and distribution. Um, out of the 22, I did 22 years. It was more than that because the last one was 30. And I did 20. I did physically 22 years in prison.
Now this is all at one time or
No,
broken
and
out throughout your life.
broke it down.
So what was the
Um,
longest sentence that you kind of did out those 22?
10 years, six
So you
months.
did 10 years, 6 months straight.
And 6 months before that, I did 7 years. 6 months before that, I did 3 years. 6 months before that, I did 18 months.
So kind of take me back to when you first started getting locked up, right? Actually, what were you doing to lead up to you first getting locked up?
I was into back in the day. We used to have groups. Everybody was in little gangs, and I was in a bicycle gang. I did tricks on bikes and jump stuff and this that and other. So back in the day, we ain't had no money to get those $1,000 bicycles or this, that, and other. So we stole bicycles. We stole bikes. We put them together. This, that, and the other. We smoked all the weed and kept it moving. And no, never really got locked up for none of that. Um, so I didn't really start getting locked up until I actually started selling drugs,
Okay.
and it was all downhill for me. I was at the age of 15, I was waived to adult, and at 16, I was in MCTC in Hagerstown.
Hmm. So what did
And
you kind of? What was the drug charge that you kind of caught that let you go
nothing,
on?
a 20. And they threw me away as a juvenile from a juvenile. Took my whole juvenile life from me for $20. For $20, they threw my whole life away. And now, right now, um, I'm with the. I do a little work with the senator and the governor, and um, Will Ralph's wife. They're trying to pass a law on stop waiving children as adults because now you're throwing their whole childhood away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, for a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's not fair because the same one you'll lock a black child up for and waive him, you don't do it for a European.
So what effect did that have on you at
That's
that
that.
age right there?
All right. So me going to prison, I never went to juvenile school. Never they skipped me over that. Never got a chance to see that and be around my peers as a juvenile being in trouble. They sent me with men, right? So I had to become a man at 15. Right, over the
Mm-hmm.
detention center. I had to be a man over there. You know what I mean? And my first thoughts of prison was going there and find the first biggest person in there, bust them upside their head or something. You know what I mean? Because I'm a kid. You know what I mean? So they didn't put me in regular population at first. They put me in a dispensary upstairs with the sick people. I don't, I can't see nothing. You go up in the attic, you don't see nothing. You go outside once in the blue moon. No, I need to go downstairs with everybody else. So I signed off and went down in population. And I get down population. I know everybody, my uncle downstairs, this, that, and other, so I was pretty cool. But when I get to Hagerstown, it's like, okay, you're in a different breed. You don't know nobody up here. So first thing you do is bust somebody in the head with something. That's what I thought anyway.
So what was the consequences behind you?
Bust somebody head,
Yeah,
lock up 30 days, and you come right back off.
So now, but what kind of did that kind of give you any problems?
It gave me a name.
Okay.
It gave me. I already came in with the name Hardface, right? So now they're seeing why it's hard because I'm not just standing for nothing. I'm not just gonna stand for nothing. I'm gonna stand up for me. I don't care who you is. Don't, because it's about me saving my life and getting back home, right?
And this you at 16 years old.
Yeah, and I had my first child at 16, and my child died, and due to the both of us, me and his mother, not being what's the word, coherent, not being, we were under the influence of a narcotic, and the child went to foster care. But a lady in the foster care was an alcoholic, and he crawled outside at 4. He went outside at 4, fell into the pool and comatose his brain. She in the dining room, passed out drunk with a fifth of liquor in her hand. Right, that's how they found her when they came in and found my son dead in the pool. And they kept him on life support for 8 years. Well, I'm locked up. I don't get to see none of this. I don't get to see my son buried. I don't get to see him in the hospital. I don't get to see none of that. Right? So that's something that I held all inside because I chose the lifestyle that I did, and I supposed to have been there for my child. I feel as though I let him down because I was supposed to be there. You know what I mean? I'm the person that your parent is the person you're supposed to have for comfort. You know what I mean? And I wasn't that calm. So that's something that I carry with me for the rest of my life. You know, and I forgive myself, and I know that He forgive me because I haven't forgiven God. So I do best what I can do by Him. I don't let up. I don't let up on none of them. I don't let up on none of them.
So now you come home.
I come home, right? I still got addiction. Don't know why I got addiction.
Now, I'm sorry to cut you off. What's your addiction that you got right now?
Which one? Which one is the question? Which one is the question?
So now, this addiction that you're talking about right now, is this a habit that you picked up from being in prison?
No,
okay.
No. All mine came from the street.
Okay.
When my first habit, well, like everybody else, is the gateway drug was alcohol.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I never really liked alcohol, but I know it gave you a buzz. I couldn't stand the taste of it. Then it went to weed. I didn't like weed because I'm a hyperactive person, and weed makes you happy, hungry, and sleepy. That's not me, right? So then I went to PCP, right? And it was like, okay, smoking sacks. Nah, that's still too slow for me. So then they came out with cocaine, and I started sniffing cocaine, right? And then I smoked it. And it was like heaven. That was like my wife. For real. I didn't need no girlfriend. I didn't need nobody because she gonna get me everybody that I need, right? So I wasn't worried about that. And I wasted a lot of my life on just partying, right? It was a party drug, and it was just like if for those that couldn't afford it, I don't know, for some reason, I ain't gonna say that God blessed me, but the devil had my back for a minute because I never wanted for anything. Never. I can't recall ever wanting for anything. I don't know nobody that was out here that was a crackhead and I was a crackhead, right? I don't know nobody that was out here a crackhead that was running around here at this time with 4 and 5 ounces in their pocket, a car, their own place, this, that, and other. I didn't know that. I didn't know people that did that, right? And not to I mean to put that on high because most definitely it was wrong and most definitely that wasn't me. That wasn't me. That was somebody that I was portraying to be because I was covering up some stuff that I was hurting about. You know what I mean? And didn't want to deal with reality. Right? People run around and think that they have drug problems. You don't have a drug problem, right? The problem is problem. We don't even have problems in my eye. This is just my opinion, right? We have situations, right? And what title that you put on that situation could be problems, right? You make it a problem when you tell yourself that it's a problem. Just learn how to deal with your situations. You won't have a problem.
So now, when you was at the peak of using, right? What were some of the downfalls from your habit looking back now?
My downfall was getting locked up, right? Because it was all fun. It was all fun, just a different way, right? I'm quite sure you had your times when you went out, you and your guys went out and you drank and you did some things. Y'all had y'all little after the party, it's the after party. Well, it was always the after party. It was always the after party for me, right? I made whatever money I had to make to pay whoever I had to pay, and the rest of it was a party, right? My girls tell me that, oh, well, the kids need this or the kids need that. They get theirs first before anybody get it. You know what I mean? What I could bring to the table. I ain't gonna sit here and make myself see I was this outstanding father, and I always made sure it was financially straight. No, I was at it. You know what I'm saying? But I did my best to do what I could, what I had.
So kind of speak on, right? Because speak on the different eras that you kind of seen being out in the streets, right? Kind of like the 90s era. You kind of seen how that era kind of. I mean, you kind of watched the trends. You didn't see locked up.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I seen maybe a 6 months here, 6 months there, but no.
See, now I remember you in the 2000s, or the early 2000s. Yeah. The early 2000s.
Okay. 05 was when I came home.
Okay, right.
And
right, that makes sense. Okay.
And I'm gonna tell you how the devil. I ain't gonna say the devil. But, I mean, he is devilish, right? But I came home from prison and I had a job, and it was no growth in the job. So I started working at Mayflower. So then Mr. Griffin had got the security jobs. So I jumped on that and was making good money. My check was $2,000-3,000 every Friday because the shifts I was doing 2-3 shifts. So that was like hustling money, you know, making out. You had people in the street that wasn't even making that type of money at the time, and it was like then when if you don't have a plan, if you don't have a plan in life for life, right? If something goes wrong, you fuck. It's just everything is gonna go downhill from there. And I got married. I got married, and I was on my honeymoon, and they called me and told me that we lost our contract. So now we're coming back. We don't have a job.
Hmm.
I had no plan. I had some money saved up, but I had no plan. So when I come home, my best friend getting released from jail, and he come get me. So I go to get him, and you already know what he on. Let's get to the money, and like no, no, no. So one day I needed gas money. I had no cash on me, and the bank's closed, and I don't do. This first time I ever had a bank account, so I don't do the ATM thing. No, I go in the bank like a regular teller, go and get money out and come on up, and that's what I use for the day. So he he like, man, I ain't got no cash, and gave me something. I'm like, whoa, go, right? So that turned over from that moment till the next morning. I was on. From 40, I was on. And it was like, it was like so amazing, right? That this was going, that I could do this and don't have an urge to use it. So at this point, I know I was done with that, right? And so I said, well, hold up. I ain't going to just count it out. I ain't going to get cocky with it. But I did good. I haven't touched cocaine since 1988. No, 1998. No, 1998. No, no usage of it. Um, then I'm playing. See, this is what happens in life when you play with things and you tempt things. I'm down here, and my brother's outside. He got two dippers in his hand, and I'm like, let me light that. Let's play with him, see if he was gonna give it to me, and he gave it to me, and I lit it. And at first, I was like, I didn't smoke no more. I was just like, and it just went on. It just went on. And then I was still doing me, but I had somebody, I had a good teammate, and she wasn't good for real because she was feeding it. She was feeding it to me. She was feeding it to me, right? And she just wanted me around, so she would feed it to me. She would make sure I had it. Yeah, here you go, here you go. And I just got worse. Got to the point where though some days I didn't know if I was going or coming. So my mother would call me and make me go home. I would go home and stay up there. And then once I get a clear mind, I'm like, man, I ain't messing with her no more. And then it'd be like, man, what? Well, then down the streets is calling me. I gotta go get this money. I gotta go do this. I gotta do that. And it was just like every time it would just call me back out there, and because I wasn't ready to stop. And I ended up moving. I moved to Florida and went down there. Was doing really good. Had good jobs down there, and the disease of addiction is cunning and baffling, right? It don't care about you, your kids, or nothing else. It will call me all the way from Florida because it wasn't no water down there, wasn't no boat down there. right? And I ain't know nowhere else to go to get it but here, right? Once a month I ride back home by myself. 14 hours by myself, one way, on a weekend when I was off. I would come up. Wouldn't think about nothing till I got here, till I got it, right? Then once I got it, I'm mad with myself, right? So I might not even do. I mean, it might be just that one that I use, and then I'll be mad for the rest of the weekend, and I'll go up my mother's house, chill up there or whatever, right? Till it's time to go back home. And so through my whole addiction, through all the everything that I was getting high, I've always been a helper. I've always wanted to see people do better, right? And thanks to Valley, right, for wearing me to death. Come on, man, I know it's time to go. I know you're ready today, right? And I truly thank that brother. Through the grace of God, God sent him in my life, right? He's always been there because he's family, but he sent him in my life to help me with my addiction. And through the course of me changing, right, and wanting more out of life, God has opened up doors,
Right.
right? I now work with the senator and the governor like twice a week, right? I do community outreach. I go to different neighborhoods from Annapolis to Baltimore, recruit people for drug programs,
Okay.
right? I help people with affordable housing. I help people with jobs. Walmart, for anybody that's hearing this right now, if you do not have a job, Walmart is hiring. Open a position up for me, right? You have to go on there. The store is 5382, right? Governor Rich Highway. They are hiring. You put an application in within 24 hours. Your application should be seen. When the 24 hours is up, you just walk in the store and do an open interview, and you're hired. Um, yeah. Like man, I just can't see. People say, well, how do you find time to do all that you do? Because I work basically 7 days a week. My phone don't stop.
Mm-hmm.
My phone don't stop. I answer the phone 24 hours a day. I might stay on the phone with you 2, 3 hours. I do the suicide hotline. Um, what else? It's just a lot of things that God, like me, the person that I was, hard face. For the people that know hard face worked with this senator and the governor. Could you believe that? And that all comes through the thanks of Valley once again, because Valley brought me a little side job one day with the mayor. So me going into the mayor, right? Just imagine me going to the mayor's house to move something. Me hard face, they would still no God, you're not coming out. Jail, no. But through the grace of God, man, everything will work out for the better. And you just put your best foot forward, man. We gotta want something out of life. We gotta keep pushing forward, right? Because if we don't, right, we're gonna always be where we always been. And that's nowhere, right? Robinwood ain't a bad place. It's just people just make bad choices. Eastport is not a bad place. People just make bad choices. You know, none of these neighborhoods are bad places because the neighborhood don't do nothing to you. It's the bad choices that do it. Right? You can see a million guns laying on the ground or a million drugs laying on the ground. If you make that bad choice to pick it up, then who fault is it really? You know what I mean? So it's just, man, we have to make better decisions in life because we can't just think about ourselves, right? Because if you have kids or you plan to have kids, what type of lifestyle are you going to show your children, right? What kind of pain and suffering are you going to give your parents of you being out here in the streets? You know what I mean? Or the people that love you, period. You know what I mean? If you got a woman and she's happy with you doing what you're doing, it's the wrong damn woman. If she's not pushing you, a woman is your backbone. She's supposed to put you can have a fifth grade education. And if she tells you that you came home and said, baby, I just seen this thing in the newspaper, they're hiring for rocket scientists. You supposed to get up, put your motherfucking suit on, and go apply for that job tomorrow. That's the type of woman that's gonna push you, right? But if she ain't willing to do that, man, find somebody else. She ain't the right woman. She not. Might be good to look at, might be good to hold sometimes, but come on, man. At the end of the day, when you get to struggling, right, and you can't make it today, is she gonna put on her hard hat and her boots and go out here and make it for you? I just told my next door neighbor this morning, and I said that they're not one of us. They are Mexicans. She every morning she gets up and she got her boots on, her tail toe boots on, her hard hat, and she go to work every morning. This morning she was out there when I was coming out. She had the hood up on the truck, taking the throttle body off the truck, putting a new one on. Come on, that's a woman. That's a man. They claim that's a man's job. But if you but he at work, he come outside with his work clothes on. So if she can pull a weight like that, if we had women in our life that could pull a weight like that, it would be less. It would be so excuse me. It would be so not stressful for us to go out here and do these things. You know what I mean? But we don't pull together like that. We don't. She got to look cute. She got to get the nails done. She got to go out here and do this, that, and the third. Where with the nails done on Friday? Let's go ahead and get this money today. Get this money today. I don't need a woman that can't go work with me. Right. And that's most of our. But see, we got more people in prison today behind a woman, right? And she out here with another dude right now. Man in jail, serving life times 30. My nephew in jail right now doing double life in 60, right? Behind a female. And he don't even know where she at. She don't even write him a letter. No, it should. It shouldn't. My thing is if you sign up for something, right? If you sign up for something, that's what you're supposed to sign. Not to say that it's gonna last forever, right? But you gotta give it a fighting chance. It would never happen if she was doing what she was supposed to be doing from the jump. I went to speak to a woman in the grocery store. She said, "I'm sorry, I got a man." I was just trying to tell her she pops up. But I respect that. That she said that she got a man. I respect that. And she wasn't disrespectful about it. She was just sorry I have a man. And I understand that, right? Because I can be terrible. I can be terrible. But man, it's just
So let me now here at Small City Big Dreams, right? We kind of I wanted to touch in. I wanted to add like a new segment today, right? And kind of get into some recovery questions, so to say, right? So now I'm gonna just hit you with some recovery questions real quick. So, what were the initial obstacles you encountered when beginning your recovery journey?
my initial obstacles was fear, right? That was the most thing, right? The fear of the craziest thing is missing out on what was going on, right? The fear of because of the drug that I was using and the lifestyle that I lived, that somebody will get me when I'm in. Because I went to Gardensia, that's a hospital. So how it's set up, right? And I when I first went there, it was like, okay, once you get in, you can't get out. But it's not, you can leave whenever you want, but it was just, then you got 8507, and then you got us, and we all in the same building. So it's like,
Let them know what the 8507 is.
8507 is like for people that got life. They got life or got a lot of time, right? And it really stems from most of us out here when we catch charges, right? We're under the influence. You're under the influence of something, alcohol, weed, cocaine, dope, whatever it is that you're under the influence, right? And there's the 8507 law, right? That they must give you an opportunity to complete a drug program. And it started out as a Collins versus State. It started out as Collins versus State before it became 8507. And with that, they had to give you a drug program, and if you got put out or you left for whatever reason, you still had another opportunity to complete the program. You could go back to complete the program. Um, but 8507 is a great program. It's 8507 and 8505. There's two different ones, and I don't know what the other one is. But man, it if you have people that's locked up, it's a guy named Officer Horn. You can reach him through 77 West Street, right? It's right across the street from social service. Um, and he's there on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and he will help you. He will look into your people's case and try to get them on 8507 or 8508. I mean 8505. But man, fear is our biggest role that we play in trying to get ourselves together because it's something that you never did before.
Right.
It's unknown to you, right? And it's so simple. It is so simple. All you have to do is follow basic directions. They're so basic you can follow them in your sleep, right? You just gotta listen to people, man. Listen to people that got just like out here. When you come out in the streets and you came out here and you wanted to hustle and you seen this guy with the brand new BMW with the rims on it, this, that, and he got big gold chains, you follow what he was doing, right? So if you see somebody that got 20 years clean and you want it, you gotta follow what they doing. You gotta change. That's why it says change your people, places, and things, right? If you don't change your people, places, and things, you're bound to repeat history. And when you repeat history, you ain't getting nothing. Nothing. You're bound to repeat you using all that. That's when relapse comes into play. Relapse is not a part of my program.
Yeah.
Relapse is not a part of my program. I have never, just like when I was using drugs, I don't do nothing half-assed. I complete my task. I completed it. My task is over with using drugs. It's over, right? My task now is to get clean and then pull everybody that I possibly can pull with me, and to be the best parent I can be to this young man right here.
So how has your perspective on life changed since starting your road to recovery?
I want more. And for me to want more, I gotta do more. Let me tell you what I did last night. What was that thing? Saturday night. Well, Friday, let's start with Friday. Friday night, I had a business meeting at Denny's, right? I went to Denny's, had a ball. Had a ball at Denny's in this business meeting. On a Friday night. Friday night, we usually at Burger Legions, else we somewhere sidelines, we doing something over the girl house, something, you know what I mean? But for me to have a meeting at 8:30 at night at a restaurant, and I had just got off from working with the governor and the senator, right? I went home and changed my clothes because had the tie and everything on. I'm like, man, I ran home and changed my clothes. Left the wallet in the clothes I had on. So now I'm rushing down the road. Good thing I had my phone with me and my face, and I got my cash app on it. But so he telling me, man, don't worry about it. I told him I forgot my wife, man, don't worry about it. I got you. I got you. So we ate, we talked, and we didn't even really talk business, man. He just wanted me to come out with him and hang out with him and his wife. Me, hard faith. We talk about hard faith, right? And these little things. But let me give y'all one more thing, and this came to my mind, right? This is the reward of everything. I worked for Brown Reentry Program as well, and they helped. That's where I started this journey at, with help with coming up the ladder. And I got raw ended in it, but I started out volunteering for 7 months before they actually gave me the job, right? And it was not about the money, right? It's not about the money. It's about me helping my fallen humanity, especially the ones that I came out here and when I was in the streets and I helped. I'm not going to say that I messed their life up. I assisted them in messing their life up, right? And because, like I said, I never forced anything on nobody. I never went and knocked on your door and say, "Boy, I got this. Do you want this?" They always came to me. So that was me assisting them. And when I help somebody, I got this guy that I never met, and these three girls in Baltimore that I got them into the program. Now I got dozens of people into the program. I just got 56 people jobs at Walmart. I just got 37 people apartments, right? And the look that they give you when they come to tell you thank you, that you was a man of your word, and I got in there, I'm working, and I'm doing this, that, and other. How they come to you and they just hug you and hold on to you, right? And speak on you on situations. And when we have our morning meetings, they constantly speaking on my name, and it's not something that I'm asking for, but that's worth more than money because that's a gift that's going to keep on giving to me. That lightens my day up. That makes me feel 100% better about myself and what I'm doing. Because some days I'll be ready to give up. Some days I'll be like, nah, man, I'm finding something else, right? But then they come through with that, and like, man, I want to thank Brother Terrance for doing X, Y, Z, boom, 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 right? Man, if you don't listen, this high that I get from doing what I'm doing is better than any drug that I never used.
Yeah.
It's worth more money than any money that I never had. I had a few dollars, right? But it's worth more than any of that money that I never had, right? Any feeling that you could think of, it tops it, right? So I'm like, man, why would I stop doing this? But the hurting part of this is when I come right here in my own neighborhood, and you got your Max, you got your Tyrone, your Freaky Ties, you got all these guys that's out here, right? That I didn't put so much effort and energy into, right? And they don't want it. They don't want it. And you would rather sleep outside, right? In somebody's car, in a bus stop, wherever, in freezing cold weather, than to go stay inside of a building that got heat, food, a bed, a blanket, TV. You don't owe nobody nothing. You know what I mean? Because you most definitely don't owe me nothing. And I'll come get you anytime. You call me 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. Tell me you want to go, I'm coming to get you.
So how has your support system played a role in your recovery?
You right there. He supporting me right now.
Yeah.
He right there. And look, we even take people to the Ravens games. And I don't even like the Ravens. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone who's starting their own journey to wellness?
To listen, pay attention, right? Get into the NA meetings. The NA meetings are your fuel, right? That's going to keep you from day to day. That's going to keep you. I got to go to one. I got 20. April 1st will be 2 years, right? That I have clean. I have to go 5 days a week. I was going 7, right? But I got to give him his time. So 5 days a week, I go to a meeting, right? Because I need my fuel. Like last night. Oh, let me finish with this one thing about last night because that's a meeting too. We have functions that we have. Like we got Eastern Shore coming up, Ocean City coming up, right, for the big NA convention. But last night it was an NA convention, right, at the bowling alley up Glen Burnie. Man, so much fun. You would think that we was at Naps Day or something. I'm telling you, it was so much fun for $25. $25 ain't nothing. I've spent and on a Saturday night. I'd have spent probably $1,000 getting out. So, you know, $25. Well, and then I brought a pizza, so that was a good $40, $45, something like that. Man, but it was the best money spent. I ain't got to worry about it. I ain't got to be tripping on the day like, man, I spent that money last night. No, I enjoy spending. We'll spend it again. Right? Just some little things, though. Little things. Going bowling. Right? I ain't bowled in 20 years, 30 years, maybe. Right? Then it was the kid bowling pins. It was the little ones who went over there and played. If the kid was invited, I didn't know I'd have brought my son. But man, it's just wonderful.
So, how do you maintain motivation on days when recovery feels particularly challenging?
It's never a challenge if you have the right mindset, right? It's all about how you wake up in the morning. If you wake up, it's a plant. You got to feed it every day, right? Your plant is most definitely gonna grow, just like that one right there. It's gonna grow. You feed it, you water it, you nurture it. It's gonna grow. I feed myself every day, every night. I work 24. When I say 24 hours a day, when I'm asleep, my brain is still running on what I can do tomorrow, right? Not every night, but most nights it's going to leave me something, and I'll wake up, go to the bathroom, and write it down. So when I wake up in the morning, I'll put it together with something, right? So it don't stop. I wake up in the morning, and let me give you another part of my story, right? I had 12 strokes. I had 12 strokes in 22. The doctor told me when I woke up, the whole time I was out for 7 days. I was in coma for 7 days, and told me that God was telling me, Terrance, get up, get up, get up. He showed my grandmother, my great grandmother, my great great grandmother laying there dying, right? Told me get up. So when I woke up, I couldn't talk, couldn't do nothing, right? So when I ended up coming to and they realized that I laid there for a good 3, 4 days before they even realized I was woke. And they when they found out, they came to me just that were talking to me, talking to me. And I kept going back and forth, back and forth, back up. So when I could woke up and could talk, all I could say was get me up. So they came in and started, doctor came in and talked to me, Mr. Sims, well, we got some bad news. So I'm like, get me up, get me up. He's like, Mr. Sims, the bad news is that you'll never walk again. You see me walk in the door, right? God is good,
All the time.
right? I laid there, and for the people that's watching this, right? If you're going through any type of strokes or any major surgeries, please look for the natural way of healing yourself and not the medicine. Some medicines are good. Don't get me wrong. Some medicines are good. They had me on 8 muscle relaxers while in a stroke, right? And I'm wondering why my brain is not telling my legs to move. So, excuse me for those, but I'm a man. I want to know why my private is not working, right? And that's the insane part of it, right? I want to know why my private is not working because I can feel myself have to pee. I can feel it. I have the catheter. I can feel it though. So, us as men, when we wake up, we feel that pee. My man, right?
Yeah.
No, ain't nothing moving. So I asked the nurse. She said, "Well, you have to ask the doctor." So when I asked him, he said, "Mr. Sims, we have you on 8 different muscle relaxers. Your penis is a muscle." I'm like, "So why am I on 8 different muscle relaxers?" He's like, "Because you had too much brain activity. Your brain is running." I said, "Well, anybody that know me know that my brain always running. I was always out here running a mile a minute." You know what I mean? So no, don't mess with that. Leave that part alone. But ain't it wrong? When God ready for me, come on, He'll slow it down, right? So I refused all the medicine. I refused. The only thing I would take was my blood pressure medicine, my heart medicine, and my kidney medicine. Because when I had the strokes, it messed my kidney up. So I laid in there. My brother came over. I made him get me up and just walk. He was dragging me. A month later, my leg came back. Right? About another 20 days, the other side came back. I'm on a walker now. So now, when the left side come back, they want to give me therapy. They didn't want to give me therapy. They give me therapy. So I refused it. You ain't putting that on the bill. You ain't checking that on there. right? So 4 months go by and I walk out the hospital, right? That was 2022, November the 2nd. It is now 2025, March the 16th. I have not received a hospital bill for being in the hospital for 4 months. So that makes me think that they did something wrong. I can't pinpoint it because there was no communication. There's no paperwork.
Right.
So I can't pinpoint what was done wrong for me to sue. I go to the doctor's January. She prescribed me the wrong medicine.
Mm.
I just had an allergic reaction, almost died in my sleep, right? I go to the doctor's because she went in the hospital. Right after that, she went in the hospital. I goes, so my next doctor appointment wasn't until March the 11th. Listen how good God is. I walked in, I'm on the telephone talking to my disability lawyer, right? And I tells her that I'm on the telephone. She can keep talking, but I'm on the phone listening to my lawyer, right? I guess she don't hear me say lawyer. So she gets to talking, she looks at some charts, she come back, she's like, Mr. Sims, I need to apologize to you. I said, what? She said, I gave you the wrong medicine. She says it twice. My lawyer said, what did she just say? She said she gave me the wrong medicine, right? She said, let her know that I'm on the telephone. Because it's a conflict, not conflict of interest, but
Breach, so
yeah,
to
it's
say.
some type of breach,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I let her know. I said, I'm on the phone talking to my lawyer. She said it the third time. After she hit me tell her I'm on the phone with the lawyer, blatantly, right, to tell her to shut up, she still says it, right? So my lawyer said, Mr. Sims, you gonna be all right. You gonna be all right. I said, well, I'm gonna be all right anyway, because I got God in my life. I ain't never been out all right, right? And it's not about the money for me, because I don't know what to do with it. All I'm gonna do is go ahead and give it away. I am. I'm gonna go ahead and try to help everybody that I can help. That's all I know what to do, because that's what God put in my heart. So it's just, man, if y'all want to change, if you want to get a better way of life, man, I ain't gonna tell you you gotta pick God. I'm gonna tell you get you a higher power, right? And follow basic directions. If the book say walk left, that means walk left. Don't mean go right or try to go straight. It means go left. Because if you go left, it's gonna bring you right back around in a circle. Right? If you go right, it's gonna bring you right back around in a circle. Right? If you want to go straight, you got to follow the part in the book where it tell you to go straight. I mean, you gotta follow basic directions, man. Basic directions right now has changed me from being hard faced to being Terrance. And I love being Terrance. There's nothing like him. Hard face was a good dude, but hard face was one of the dudes that you need when you was in trouble. Right? There's no need for us to be in trouble today. It's not.
Lastly, I'm gonna let you leave us with this, Harvey. How has your definition of strength changed throughout the recovery process?
Um, our strength has gotten stronger, right? Because when you have knowledge, you have power. Knowledge is power, right? Because if you know how to go solve, see, I know what my destiny is today, right? My destiny is to help people. My destiny is to pick up the people that I once walked with, right? Not to say that I wouldn't walk with them today, because I'll still walk with them today. I just don't have to do what they do, right? If I got to walk with them to try to get them to a different level in life, I will. I will. But I make sure I'm bringing support with me when I come. I ain't done today. I ain't going over there trying to grab and fix everything by myself. Right? Nah, I can't do it. I can't do it by myself. And that's what support systems does. When you build a support system, the support system will walk anywhere with you. Anywhere. Whatever you need to do. Prime example. I said, Valley, I need you to come on up here to the stadium. I'm on my way, cuz. You need me to bring somebody? Yeah, bring whoever you want to bring. You feel what I'm saying? This support system coming. If Valley called me and say he need me anywhere, I'm there. I'm there. You got to stand for something or fall for anything. You got to, man. And if you don't get strengthened by changing your walk, right, then you got something else going on that's blocking your view. My walk change.
Small city, big dreams. Turning dreams into reality. Thank you, Mr. Terrance, for coming out today and blessing us with your story.
Thank you for having me.
We just wish you much success on your journey. Just keep going, man. Keep going. Just like you said, we here for you. I know that you're here for us too.
All right. I'll be back for part 2 because there's more to come.
Yeah, there you go. And hey, y'all blame Valley for all the noise in the background with the phones and all that, man. We signing out. Peace.
It's your man, Location Chef, and as you can see, we had to bring it back home today. We had to touch the soil because we representing with Small City Big Dreams Annapolis, the #1 nonprofit organization in Annapolis and the surrounding areas. And even though we at home today, it's not just about us. We got love for everybody, providing vital resources to all 7 low-income communities. Everything from drug and alcohol treatment, after-school resources, job placement resources, turkey drives at Thanksgiving, toy drives at Christmas, and so much more. Again, we understand how poverty can create barriers for everybody, but we will not let that get in the way. Again, Small City Big Dreams Annapolis. Look for us on Instagram, SCBD Annapolis. Also, look forward to that Big Stepper series. We're moving around the community. We're getting with the individuals that's making things happen, servicing the youth. The Big Stepper, so to speak. So again, we look forward to getting with y'all. Y'all get with us. Until then, SCBD. It's nothing. We do no bluffing.